With the history of tobacco usage beginning as early as 5000 BC, humans have long been a slave of this readily addictive cash crop. In the year of 1865, with the invention of the modern commonplace cigarette, tobacco consumption saw a drastic and incredibly destructive increase. Over the course of the next 100 years, cigarette production and consumption would see unprecedented growth. These small, handheld rolls of dried leaves would come to dominate global economies and governments, their power and influence trumping even the most damning scientific evidence, suggesting causal links between smoking and diseases ranging from lung cancer to stroke. In order to combat these health complications, Herbert A. Gilbert applied for a patent in 1960, introducing the world to the very first e-cigarette prototype. Although it was never commercialized due to the fashionable nature of cigarettes at the time, this set the groundwork for the sharp uprise in e-cigarette production just a few decades later. Now, fast forward to the present day. When it comes to e-cigarettes, Juul has more or less established itself as a household name. This is all thanks to the work of one woman. Meet Chenyue Xing, a chemical engineer from China, who was recruited by the vape company in 2013. In the 3 years she spent with the company, she co-created Juul's nicotine salt technology. Up until that point, companies utilized free-base nicotine, which has a 3% nicotine concentration by volume. The nicotine salt technology, however, increased nicotine concentration in Juul pods to 5%, delivering smokers a much stronger and smoother vaping experience, and inspiring dozens of vape companies to do the same. From 2013 to 2016, the US e-cigarette industry grew from $1.1 billion to $4.2 billion. In the same time period, China's industry increased from $197.5 million to $483.7 million, a surprisingly smaller industry given the population of the nation. China, while responsible for around 95% of the world's e-cigarette production, shockingly accounts for only 5% of the international consumption. In 2017, when Juul Labs decided to venture into the market of THC vapes, Xing made the decision to leave the company, stating that her ultimate goal is to help smokers meet their nicotine needs whilst reducing the harmful substances they consume. Xing decided that she would pursue her goal by co-founding a new company called Mist Labs, making its debut in the largest smoker nation in the world, China. Mist's product is a slick silver nicotine delivery device called the Mist P Series, which will retail at 399 RMB. Many of the ideas that inspired the design were based off of what Xing perceived to be Juul's mistakes. Most notably, the Mist P Series will not be available in the fruity flavor pods that hooked a new generation of nicotine addicts. Instead, it will only be available in the flavors of tobacco and mint. Furthermore, the company plans on utilizing facial recognition to ensure only consumers of legal age can purchase the product. The Mist device also contains only 3% nicotine by volume versus the 5% nicotine products available on the market. They also plan on utilizing strategic advertising instead of the colorful ads featuring young people that many US vape companies use to lure new customers. Mist's team of scientists and developers are located in the Silicon Valley, where the majority of research is conducted, while manufacturing and marketing are centered in Shenzhen, China. The company cannot market itself as a smoking cessation tool, because doing so would involve acquiring approval from China's drug regulator. Instead, the startup has established itself as a new type of cigarette substitute for adult smokers. In China, the tobacco industry is protected by the Tobacco Exclusive Agency Law, which was introduced and enforced by the State Tobacco Monopoly Administration. For many prospective e-cigarette companies, their sales and imports are largely banned in China's domestic market due to concerns that they will harm the traditional tobacco industry, which contributes more than 6% of the state tax. With over 350 million smokers currently using combustible tobacco products, China is a major contender to become the world's largest e-cigarette market, but regulations are also on the way. Xing has picked a brutally tough time to try and force a new brand into the vaping market. Regulatory uncertainty in China is creating exceptionally high entry barriers that our company will have to get over. However, Xing, as a self-established Chinese and female scientist, is well versed in combating adversity facing her work. Xing believes that the clear guidance and regulations that are being introduced in China will actually help serious contenders, weeding out the other companies that lack real technology and strong supply chains. The future, however, is still very uncertain. Will Xing's company be able to stand out given all the strict competition? Is it truly feasible to end the smoking addiction of the most highly populated nation in the world, and is this the solution? In pursuit of her ultimate goal to help end the nicotine addiction of millions, Xing's company is also developing an app to help users taper their vape usage and quit altogether. When asked whether she fears that this may end up putting her company out of business, Xing just shrugs it off. There are enough smokers out there.